Hello guys and welcome today to Game Theories. Today we're going to do an updated version of the Ultimate Timeline. So it's going to be the Ultimate Timeline version 2.0 as suggested by this guy, so credit to him for shouting this out. So yes, we have made loads of these videos before. There is a playlist with all of them in, but it is getting very confusing when you have to watch about 9 different videos to get the full timeline. So we thought we'd condense it into one big video right now for you. But before we get into this, if you wouldn't mind clicking that subscribe button if you're new, as we are trying to hit 5,000 subscribers as soon as possible, and every little helps. But without further ado, let's get straight on with the video. So, the Ultimate Timeline Theory is a timeline theory where we've mashed up pretty much 15 different film companies' films into one big timeline that runs from start to beginning, a bit like the Pixar theory, a bit like the DreamWorks theory. There'll be a link to our DreamWorks theory up above. So yes, we'll get into this, and we're going to start with the prehistoric era. So the first films in our list are from the prehistoric era, and this starts with The Land Before Time, The Good Dinosaur, The Croods, The Start of Minions, and Early Man. In these films we get firstly introduced to humans, we also get introduced to dinosaurs and animals and other stuff like that. We then move a little bit into the future, and then we get Ice Age 1 to 5. In these films we see that animals are getting smarter, and yeah, time is progressing. The next film we get is Tales from Earthsea. In this we start to see that human technology is starting to advance, and we also get to see the start of dragons. Still at this point, everyone's pretty much on a level playing field with animals, humans, all that. So we're just starting to see this progress. We then go to How to Train Your Dragon series, where we obviously see humans have started to advance and also have started to use dragons in their stuff. We obviously see Hiccup and his team use them, and I still can't wait to see the third How to Train Your Dragon film. I can't wait for that, side note. But yeah, carrying on with this. The next film is The Tale of Princess Kaguya. In this film, we start to see the start of magic and spirits. We also see that humans are getting smarter on this. We then move on to Brave and Shrek 1 to 4. These are happening at the same time, but in different parts of the world. In Shrek 1, we get to see that there's the last of the dragons. We also get to see magical creatures, whereas in Brave, we get to see humans get smarter. We also get to see magic in that, but we also get firstly introduced to Boo, who is a very important character, as you'd probably know from the Pixar theory. The final film in this era is Princess Mononoke, and in this we see humans are getting smart. We get to see them kill strange creatures. This then brings us on to an era of magic, pirates, miniature creatures, trolls, and wars. This era starts with Tangled and Frozen and Charmin. In this we see Disney princesses coming out. We see a lot of princesses in Charmin, and how Tangled and Frozen links, if you don't know what the Tangled and Frozen theory is, there's people from Tangled you see in Frozen at the wedding, and we believe Tangled is around 3 years before Frozen. Also going on at the same time is Moana, which just takes place around a different part of the world, and we obviously know what happens with Moana, meets Maui, all that good stuff. The next movie is Happily Never After. Disney princesses are obviously a lot, but now magic is getting stronger, and in this movie we see these sorts of events from not happening. We then move on to one of my favourite films personally in terms of animation point of view, Kubo and the Two Strings. In this we see magic is getting stronger, but this is also taking part in a different part of the world to where the rest of these films are from. But the animation in Kubo and the Two Strings is just wonderful. Woo! It's a good film. Definitely would recommend watch that one if you watch any of these on the list. Definitely Kubo and the Two Strings. We then move on to Robinson Crusoe. In this film we firstly get introduced to pirates, and animals in this film are quite smart, and we get to see them get smarter, so yeah. We then hit the sort of Victorian age, and these films are Pirates Adventurous Scientists. We also have Box Trolls and Howl's Moving Castle. In Pirates Adventures Scientists, we get to see that humans are getting smarter, things are developing, and we also get to see what humans have been up to and how the world is starting to shape up. In Box Trolls, we firstly get introduced to trolls for the first time, and then in Howl's Moving Castle, we get to see how far magic has come in this time. We then move forward to about World War I time in Porco Rosso, which is set in World War I, where we get to see how far humans have advanced, but we also get to see the use of magic in that film. Then move on to Kiki's Delivery Service. This is set around 1937, so just before World War II. We know this as there is a reference to the Hindu burn disaster which did happen in 1937, so that's why we've placed it in here. In this film we see that magic is getting definitely stronger as there are witches now. Then comes Grave of Fireflies. In this film, we don't see any magic in this one because everyone is currently fighting as it's World War II. Then comes Castle in the Sky. In this we start to see magic getting stronger again, and we also see that how far human technology has come to this point. Then comes A Troll in Central Park. In this we see how far trolls have come, and we also see how smart humans have become. Then comes the movie Trolls. In this film we get introduced to our miniature creatures for the first time in the timeline. Then comes Horton Hears a Who. In this we see miniature creatures advancing, but we also see how far animals are getting and how smart they have become. Then comes Thumbelina. In this film we see magic as more of a thing again, and we also see some more miniature creatures. Then in the timeline comes Epic and Arrietty, and in this we first see the first time humans get introduced to miniature creatures. And the final film in this sector coming up is Smurfs. In this film humans get along with Smurfs, and we get to see more of the technology used and the magic used by them, and humans get to use that as well a bit. Then we move on to the Age of Magic, and this starts with Rise of the Guardians. And in this we start to see magic is becoming more of a thing yet again. We then move on to Anastasia. In this film we get introduced to Bartok. Then we move on to Bartok the Magnificent, and in this film we see magic is getting stronger. We then move to The Secret of the Nymph, and as this trend carries on we start to see the development more and more of magic, which is then followed by Ponyo, which is then also followed by The House of Magic, and by this point humans now are getting fully introduced to magic. Which then leads us on to Coraline, which is the first time humans get introduced to the magical world, which is the same magical world that is used in some other films in this timeline. Then comes Gnome Alone. In this film we see a magical portal appear in one of the random houses randomly, and we start to get magic gnomes coming through. We then have Rock-a-Doodle-Doo. This film shows us that magic is now coming into the books as well, as the magical world is in a book. Then comes a classic film, which is Spirited Away, which sees the magical world is now really strong and can also come in and out of the humans' world at this point. We then move on to Hotel Transylvania 1 and 2, where humans can now travel between the magical world and their own, and we're sort of mixing them all up now. Each where monsters and magical creatures and humans can now travel in between both. Then in the timeline comes The Corpse Bride. We see more magic. The final film in this block is Paranormal. In this film we see magical creatures and monsters come into the human world. Then we move on to the next category, which is animals and humans getting smarter. The first film in this is When Marnie Was There, and in this film we see humans getting smarter. We then move on to Surf's Up, which shows animals getting smarter. Then comes Valiant, that shows animals are getting smarter. Then comes Over the Hedge, which again shows animals are getting smarter. Then comes Ratatouille and My Neighbor Totoro. Both these films take place at the same time in different parts of the world, and animals and humans aren't really interacting that much, but some are, as in these cases with these two films. Then it's The Pebble and the Penguin. In this film we are seeing animals' intelligence really getting to the height now, and they can now travel around the world. Kumba adds to this with its part as animals now travel around the world more frequently. Then comes The Whisper of the Heart and The Cat Returns. These films are actually sequels, or many have theorised that this is a sequel. The Cat Returns is a sequel to The Whisper of the Heart. And so yeah, in these films we see animals getting smarter, and we see that some magic has also interacted with some of the animals, as one of the cats can fly. Then comes Finding Nemo, Finding Dory, A Turtle's Tale 1 and 2. We get to see that Aquatic Life is now also getting really smart, and they're also travelling around the world. Then is An American Tale, which is also kind of just the same stuff as happening as the previous two films I mentioned. Then comes Rio 1 and 2, and we start to see how far birds and other animals are advancing and how smart they're getting. Then is Open Season, humans and animals are getting smarter. Then comes Inside Out, we get to see humans getting smarter, and Riley's story, but also Inside Out we'll explain more at the end, because this is also key to the whole theory, not just this movie. Then is Coco, humans getting smarter, and also this film, as the same as Inside Out, we'll explain more later on as to why these two films are very important for the whole theory. Then comes Peter Rabbit. Humans and animals now getting smarter again, but also animals are now using human technology just as well. Then comes Get Squirrely, and now animals are so smart they've mastered all of human technology in this. Then is The Secret Life of Pets. Animals are getting smarter. Then Flushed Away, animals are getting smart. Obviously we get to see the underground cities they have built. Then comes Ferdinand, animals obviously getting smarter. Then comes Madagascar and the penguins of Madagascar. Obviously animals are getting smarter. The penguins are crazily smart. They control boats, they can make planes. You know how smart these guys are getting. This film definitely proves how far animals have come in terms of their intelligence levels. Then comes ants, which is also animals getting smarter. Then comes A Bug's Life, obviously animals getting smarter. Then Chicken Run, where we also get to see chickens who can also use technology and have made a plane to escape from human control in this one. Then comes Boss Baby, where we get to see how far humans are developing, how they're getting smarter. Then comes Wallace and Gromit series, we get to see humans getting smart, we also get to see animals getting smart, we get to see the technology they use, and how they're teaming up as Wallace and Gromit are. Also awesome animation. Love Wallace and Gromit, classic film. The stop motion is just beautiful in that. You gotta agree on that one. Then comes Shaun the Sheep movie, which happens just after Wallace and Gromit. And can I say, I cannot wait till Shaun the Sheep 2 comes out, Farmageddon. That is going to be great. Cannot wait. I'm hoping Aardman just speed it up because I want to see it right now. I can't wait till that film comes out. Then comes Turbo, where we get to see animals interacting with humans again, and obviously Turbo races the first time, so we get to see a snail racing with humans in what was just a human competition with race cars. Then comes Bolt, where we see humans and animals interacting, obviously Bolt acting with them, but humans and animals still can't talk to each other at this point. Then comes Captain Underpants. In this film we see the technology getting smart. We also see that human technology has now become so smart that they can now hypnotise people with it. Then comes the Bee Movie, where we get to see humans and animals interact again, and now bees can also talk to the humans, and it's sort of became clear that they can now understand each other. Then comes All Dogs Go to Heaven 1 and 2. In this movie we see magic again, where dogs come back from the dead and start talking to humans. Then comes Pompoko. In this film we see animals are now so smart they can turn themselves into humans. Then is Hop, where animals and humans are talking to each other. Then comes Creature Comforts, where animals and humans interactions are now more regular, mainstream. They're even interviewing each other in this film. Then comes Up, where we see humans and animals interacting. We also see smart technology so that the animals who couldn't communicate before now can with the special technology on the dogs. Then comes the Peanuts movie, where animals and humans are now living together and also talking to each other. And that concludes that era. We then move on to an era of aliens, smart technology and humans. The first film on this is Space Chimps. In this we see technology has gone really far and now we can travel to space, but we also see that animals can also get to space as they are chimps who go. We then have Alien Adventure, where we get introduced to aliens, but they don't interact with humans, they just come to Earth. Then we have Home. Technology is super high for the humans, but we also see humans get firstly introduced to aliens. Then comes Megamind, where humans and aliens interact with each other. Then comes Monsters vs Aliens, where we see how far technology has come. Then we have Titan AE. In this film we see humans have now created spaceships and go into space, but they never come back and get lost. And they do end up meeting aliens in the year 3028, which concludes this era. We then move on to an era of smart technology. The first film in this is the end of Minions in Despicable Me 1 to 3. In this we see how far human technology has come in terms of weapons. We then move on to The Incredibles, where we see the first AI really being used, and we also see that now humans also have superpowers. Then comes The Incredibles 2, which in this film we see humans getting smarter and the technology advancing. We also see technology that they can hypnotise people across the world using screens. Then comes Wreck-It Ralph, where we see technology is getting so smart it's also creating life inside itself. As in, they can move around in the game, between the games, via the plugs. Then comes the Emoji Movie, which is the same as Wreck-It Ralph, but instead of in like old games arcade machine, it's now happening in phones. Then comes Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs 1 and 2. In this film we see the technology is getting super smart now that it's even creating life out of food. Then comes Toy Story, and we see that the AI technology is so smart now that even toys are coming to life. Then comes Big Hero 6, where we see cities are connecting together more and technology is advanced that they're now making cool things, and technology is super high that you can pretty much make as much as you want as they make themselves superheroes with like Baymax, and they also have technology with little robots. So technology, as you can see, has really advanced at this point. Then comes the Lorax, where we see the technology rising again and we see them making robots. The next film is WALL-E. We see humans advancements in technology has gone too far. They have to leave the Earth as they've ruined it, and they have to leave in spaceship because the technology has got too far and they've wrecked it. And they leave for a bit and then come back once everything is cleared up. Then we move 50 years into the future to the next film, which is Mr. Peabody and Sherman. Now at this point, everything has cleared itself up. All the technology mess we had seen from Wall-E is cleared up, and now we have time machines. But Mr. Peabody and Sherman do something that wipes out humans completely, so we just have animals left in the same sort of state, but there is no humans anymore. Except for the humans who were in Titans AE, but they died out on the spaceship. They're the only ones left. Humans have been wiped out after an accident happened in Mr. Peabody and Sherman with the time machine. Then we come to the age of the regrowth of animals, starting with Kung Fu Panda. Animals are getting smarter, but living in a world with no technology, as that was wiped out due to Mr. Peabody and Sherman. Then comes Shark Tale. Now, Shark Tale obviously has more technology. Sea life wasn't as affected as the land, so they still have technology and are thriving. Then comes Zambezia. In this, we see animals are getting smarter again on the land and can now travel quite far. Then comes the movie Chicken Little, where we see that animals are getting smarter again on the land and they also now have some technology. Then comes the movie Zootropolis, as we can now see animals who inhabit the land now are so smart and they have everything that humans ever had in the city, obviously, of Zootropolis. Then comes Sing, where animals are as smart as they were in Zootropolis, which then moves us on to the next era, which is Monsters and Technology. And the first film in this is Monsters University and Monsters Inc. As we see, monsters have now got technology, they're thriving, they can also go back in time through the doors, and this is when we first get introduced to Boo. Well, we got introduced to Boo in Brave, but this is the first time that they meet Boo as a child. Then comes the movie Robots. Monsters get so smart they start making robots. As they go back to the time of like the Lorax and like Toy Story and that sort of age where human technology is smartest and they make robots, they go back and create more and more human-like robots, but then they make so many human-like robots and the human robots and the robots get smart that they eventually wipe out all the monsters and we're just left with the robots, which then brings us on to the final film in this bit, Cars 1, 2 and 3. By this point, the robots have turned into talking cars and the cars take over and no one left, it's just the cars and the world. But throughout all these films we obviously have Inside Out and Coco, which I said I'd come back to, so here's the explanation of them. So Inside Out obviously happens actually in all of the movies because of the emotions, everything has emotions, so the Inside Out characters would happen across all the movies, but the actual event of Inside Out obviously happened back in the Animals and Humans Getting Smarter period. And in terms of Coco, we get to see what happens when you die and when there's a bridge that takes you to the afterlife, and you can come back over to see your relatives as long as they have left a picture. So that is the ultimate timeline theory itself is in this bubble, but then we go outside the ultimate timeline theory. Yes, we've gone outside the ultimate timeline theory, which is kind of where the Disney Channel timeline theory fits into this. So if you haven't seen our Disney Channel timeline theory, I suggest you go and see it. There'll be a link to a card somewhere up above, so go and check that out. This will make more sense. But basically all the Disney Channel shows are really connected in this sort of bubble. However, in Sunny with a Chance one episode, Selena Gomez comes on and Sunny with a Chance pretends to dress up as Alex from Wizards of Waverly Place and says she's the actress on it. So we obviously know that Sunny with a Chance and like So Random is outside the Disney Channel bubble, but is on the outside, so they can watch it on sort of a screen, but the Disney Channel timeline theory, the rest of it is inside this sort of bubble, which you can then put the whole of the ultimate timeline theory also in this bubble. And this could be seen on TV, and this brings us WAG, the WAG timeline theory, also into this, because WAG has Will Ferrell obviously in, and it just says he's an actor. It doesn't say anything in the Lego movie. His actual character name is just like a guy. So Will Ferrell in the WAG house where every of these worlds happens. So we could say that all the Lego movies happen in different rooms, all the WAG movies happen in a different room, and therefore that the ultimate timeline theory and the Disney timeline theory and everything in it happens on one of the TVs in the room, and that's how it all connects. So that is how it all connects and all finishes. So that is the ultimate timeline theory version 2.0 complete. Tell us what you think down below in the field section. We love to hear your thoughts. Also tell us what we should try and add to the ultimate timeline theory, because, you know, which other studios haven't we done? We've pretty much done everyone. We've gone from, we've got films from Pixar to DreamWorks to even Vanguard Animation. If you can think of any more, make sure you put them down there and tell us below. If you did enjoy this video, make sure you smash that like button and share it on social media with all your friends so they can see it. If you also want to see some more of the Ultimate Timeline Theory, if you want to see the original stages of it from the first version of it to now, we will leave a playlist in the description. We'll also leave one up above so you can go and see all of them if you fancy that. And if you are new to the channel, as I said before, and you wouldn't mind clicking that subscribe button, that'd be awesome, as we are trying to hit 5,000 subscribers as soon as possible, so every little helps, so it'd be awesome if you could do that. And if you are subscribed and you wouldn't mind clicking that bell button, that'd be awesome, as you'll get notified when we make new videos so you never miss them. And as always, we've been here on Game Theories. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you on Tuesday with another video. Thanks for watching, guys.